guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thanks for tuning in. Happy New Year. Welcome back to my first video of 2021. We are doing a makeup inventory and I am so excited to do this with you guys because I'm going to be sharing with you guys everything that is in my makeup collection. Not in detail, not product by product, but I'm going to talk about how many I have of each category. We're talking numbers basically. I'm going to throw up pictures throughout the video so you guys can see my collection of highlighters, my collection of eyeshadow palettes, my collection of foundations, concealers, literally everything. We're going to go through it all and then I'm going to tell you guys at the end how many makeup items I own. Super exciting. Took me so long to do. It took so long to count all this stuff and go through everything category by category. It's raining outside today, so if you guys hear water, that's what that is. I also just filmed a video creating this look using some Kaleidos makeup. It's going to be going up I think next week. So subscribe if you want to see that later on, or just subscribe if you want to become a part of my community. No pressure, no pressure. Do whatever you want. Here we go. Makeup inventory intro 2021. I haven't done this before, so I don't have anything to compare it to as far as like if my collection has grown or shrank or how it's gone, but I will be doing one at the end of the year so we can see like how my collection has fluctuated throughout this year. It's going to be really interesting because I'm going to be moving back to the States this year. I'm living in Italy currently. If you haven't been here before, my husband's in the military, so we're moving back to the States this year and it's going to be really interesting to see if I have any changes by the end of the year because it's going to be I'm going to have a lot more makeup at my little fingertips, so we'll see if I was able to control it or not. Last thing I want to mention before we actually start going into each category is that I did count how many drugstore products I have versus high-end products. And this is subjective, so whatever you consider drugstore affordable can be completely different than what I consider. But I try to use my best judgment of what I think is affordable versus high-end, and you will see that in the pictures as well, that on one side of the picture I have drugstore and one side of the picture I have high-end stuff, so you can kind of get a visual of how much I buy versus high-end and drugstore. I know I said that was the last thing I want to mention, but I just remembered one more thing. The categories that I came up with that we're going to be talking about, I have three major ones: face products, eye products, and then lip products. And the way that I came up with that was actually I followed the way that Lauren May Beauty here on YouTube does it. She has a really fantastic series on this. If you guys want to check out hers, I'm going to put her channel in the description box as well as the video her most recent video on this, so you guys can see like how I came up with my stuff. I only tweaked a few things here on mine, but basically I almost used her whole blueprint for this. Not even gonna lie, because she is really great about talking about like numbers and breaking things down in her collection, so I used her as a guide. And that's it. That's everything. Let's get started. I've already been talking for a long time, but this is the first time I'm doing this, so I wanted to make sure I was able to explain to you guys the concept here. So let's start with face products, and first we're going to talk about face primers. So I wasn't really too shocked by this. I have 10 total face primers. I have 5 drugstore and 5 high-end, and I'm actually pretty happy with that number. I'm not really expecting it to grow too much, if it does at all, next year. Hopefully I can get through a few of them this year. I think I'm gonna try and get through at least 2 of them, like 2 full-size ones. I am doing a Project Pan intro, which will actually be going up tomorrow on my channel if you guys like Project Pan videos. I'm hoping through my Project Pan I am able to get rid of like maybe 2 of them, and I'll actually be pretty surprised if this number changes. I won't be surprised if the actual products change because there are some that I could see myself decluttering, but I don't buy face primers very often. So I'm actually pretty happy with like the 10. Like I feel like that's actually like a really good number, like 5 high-end, 5 drugstore. It kind of gives me variety and it's not like too overwhelming for me personally. Okay, next for foundations. This is a category that I had no idea I had so many of, and like this is ridiculous. Like I do not need this many. This is definitely one of, in my opinion, the worst part of my collection. I mean, it's not like the absolute worst, but it was kind of crazy like seeing everything laid out. I have 18 foundations total and 1 face. And it takes like at least 6 months for me to personally to go through an entire foundation. So that would take so long. Like I literally would never be able to use up all these foundations before they expired or anything, because like foundations and creams and stuff, they don't last as long. So this is kind of like absolutely ridiculous. I mean, really when we're talking about like products expiring, I would say that my primers is too many, but my collection's at the point where it's like, and because of YouTube, I'm rotating things out and decluttering them and like giving them to friends, or like if it's something I didn't use much, I sell it, you know? Like it's not super unrealistic for me to have this many of certain things, but 18 is a lot of foundation, especially considering that I really don't like, foundation is not my favorite product. I enjoy using it, but I don't know. I like my skin. I personally like my skin. Like, I much prefer concealer. I have 11 that are affordable and 7 that are high end. I did purchase a lot of foundation this year. I have been doing quite a few foundation reviews, and I feel like a lot kind of has came out in the last year and a half, really. Like I feel like a lot has come out. I'm really hoping that I'm able to get at least like 3 of them or 4 of them finished up this year. I definitely know I'll be able to get at least 2 of them done, maybe 3, because I know I have a couple that are like pretty close to being done already, and then I have one that I'm putting in my project pan, and then obviously when I'm done with that one, I'll put another one in. So hopefully I can use some up, but I know for sure I'm gonna have to declutter some of these to keep this number from growing, because I know I already see myself buying more in 2021. That's part of like what I do. Like I like to do new foundation reviews, and there's always a new foundation coming out, like there always is. So I can see this growing if I don't really kind of keep my eye on it and pay attention to it, or declutter. Like this is one that I definitely need to keep my eye on for sure, because if it grows, it's gonna get out of control, and nobody needs 18 foundations. Not that there's anything wrong if you have that many or more, like at all. Like, I mean, look at me. Like, I have so much makeup. I would never judge. Like, and I'm not even saying that I'm going to be able to keep this under control. This could grow a lot by the end of the year. Who knows? We will see how we do at the end of the year. I don't know. Okay, moving on to concealers. I have 13 concealers. So I have 3 that are drugstore and 10 that are, that's gotta be backwards. Hold on, let me look again. I have 10 drugstore and 3 high end. I was kind of surprised by this because the little compartment that I have my concealers in is pretty small, and I was kind of surprised that it was 13, because like in my head when I look at it, it seems like I only have like 7 or 8. Clearly have more than that, and I think that's just because I have like doubles of some of them. Going into this, I was like, oh, I don't have a lot, and that surprises me that I don't have a lot. But then when I counted, I saw that I had 13. I was like, oh, that's actually a pretty fair number. Like I'm actually okay with having 13. I love concealer. I really, really do. I just love getting that really bright under eye. It's one of my favorite parts about doing makeup, and I love trying like new concealers. Again, this is gonna change probably quite a bit by the time we get to the end of the year. I think only a few of these are going to still be in my collection by the end of the year. I'm gonna try really hard to use up at least like 3 of them or something. I don't know. We'll see how that goes. But I really love concealer, and I'm actually pretty okay with this number. Next, for face powder, I only have 7 powders. I have 4 that are drugstore and 3 that are high end. I think that this number is actually gonna shrink by the end of the year, and that's because I don't love powder. I've talked about this before, but especially pressed powders. I am not a pressed powder person. Like I do not like any pressed powders. The only one I have is from Shop Miss A. It's like a translucent one, which I don't mind, but I don't see myself buying any pressed powders by the end of the year unless I fall under the hype of some. I don't know. It could happen, but I don't think I will, because I'm not a pressed powder person. So most of these are loose powders, which is my preferred way to set anything on my face. Even then, I don't love to do that. Like I really want to try in 2021 to not set my makeup as much, so I can see this shrinking due to me decluttering and hopefully being able to use up at least one of them. I want to use up at least one. But regardless, I do think 7 is an okay number. Like it doesn't feel overwhelming, and it still gives me a little bit of variety, but most of the time I'm using white translucent powders. Like that's all I use, because anything other than that can sometimes look dark under my eyes because I'm so fair. Okay, next on to face sprays. So I have 5 drugstore and 4 high-end, giving me a total of 9, which I think again is a pretty fair number. That doesn't seem overwhelming. A couple of these I know I'm gonna be able to use up. Like, I think I'm actually gonna be able to use up like 3 of these this year, if not more. During my project pan last year, I was able to find out that like it's actually pretty easy to use up setting sprays for me, because I go in, you guys, like I definitely overdo the setting spray thing because I don't like powdery looking things, but I was using a lot of powder last year because I was trying to use it up in a project pan. That sounds terrible. I mean, I liked it. I liked the powder, but I definitely always use setting spray to make it look not so powdery, which is why I want to try to use less powder next year to see like if I like that. I'm always changing up my makeup routine, but right now I'm finding it pretty easy to go through face sprays, especially the dewy ones, because I love to load on the dewiness. I love looking super dewy, which I didn't even use one today. Oh my god, I can't believe I've totally forgot. But yeah, I'm happy with this number. I'm cool with it. Okay, next up is bronzer, and in this category I also put contour, I also put cream, I put powder, just anything that bronzes or contours, all kind of finishes, it's in this category. And I have a total of 10, 2 of which are affordable drugstore and 8 of them which are high-end. And I was so surprised that I have so many high-end ones. Like, I'm actually shocked that I don't have more drugstore, but at the same time, when I really think back on 2020, I definitely was really feeling the high-end bronzers that came out. I feel like a lot of really good high-end bronzers came out. I don't typically own a lot of bronzers ever, because bronzer is one of those things that I feel like take a long time to go through. I lost my train of thought, but I really loved the bronzers that came out in 2020, and I purchased quite a few of them because I'm pretty sure the year before I had a lot less than that, but I don't know. I think this is gonna grow in 2021. I really do. I mean, I think that 10 is a good number. Like, I think that doesn't feel overwhelming to me, and I like that I only have 10, but I do kind of feel like this is gonna grow. Not a lot. I feel like it's gonna grow just a little bit. Like, I think maybe I'm gonna like predict that I'm gonna have like 15. Yeah, I can see myself buying like 5 more. Wait, that's kind of a lot. That's a lot. No, let's not do that. Who knows? I don't. You don't. No one knows. We're just gonna have to like see at the end of the year. I don't know. It's gonna be so interesting to see. Like, 1 year is such a long time, but then again, it's not. What I do know is a lot of stuff can change in a year. A lot. And there are a lot of changes coming my way. So next up is blush, and I have a lot, but when I was watching other people's makeup inventory, I didn't feel so bad, because apparently, yeah, it's compared to some other people here on YouTube, mine's pretty fair. I don't know why blush is something that like people have a lot of. I guess it's because like they're different colors, you know, so you want a variety of different ones and different finishes and all of that. But I have a total of 27. I have 13 drugstore affordable and 14 high-end, so about half and half. I like seeing that I have half and half of some of these categories. I would love for that to be more evenly distributed throughout the other categories by the end of the year, because I do love drugstore and high-end like totally equally. I love both. So I just love makeup. Like, I literally just love makeup. I don't really have a prediction for the blush by the end of the year. I feel like it's probably gonna stay around the same. I haven't been purchasing a lot of blush lately, which is good because it takes so long to finish a blush. I don't think I have ever finished a blush. Like, I really don't think I ever have. So 27 is a lot, but at the same time, I'm kind of okay with what I have. It does definitely give me variety, but it's not, sometimes it is overwhelming, but I love being able to declutter them and bring in new things. So it definitely gives me a lot of lenience, so I can kind of get rid of quite a few and bring in quite a few at the same time. You know what I mean? I don't know. I feel like this, I'm not really making any sense, but I definitely feel like this number is going to hover around the same number next year, or by the end of the year. Okay, next is highlighter, and I have a total of 20 highlighters, and this is another place where a lot of people have a lot of. Personally, I feel like for me and my makeup habits, This is way too many. Again, it's a product that it takes me a long time to go through. And if I'm being honest with myself, I kind of just go towards the same highlight shades. I usually do a really white one, a champagne-y one, a goldy one. And really those are my favorites. That's really basically all I really kind of gravitate towards. I mean, there are pink ones and stuff, but I don't really gravitate towards pinker highlighters, even though I have some. Really just those couple ones that I really love and I feel look really good on me, and that's mostly due to the fact that I'm just super fair. So I feel like everything just ends up looking pretty icy white on me, which I'm not mad at, but I do like a golden look sometimes, and sometimes like a champagne or a peachy kind of look. But that's basically all I go for. So 20 is, like, in my opinion, way too many. Like, way too many. I would love to see this get down to, like, under 15. I feel like 10 would even be good, but I don't know if that's gonna happen necessarily. I don't know, maybe 15 I could see happening. I think this is gonna change a lot next year. Like, I think I'm gonna have a lot of different products in this category next year. I have some that I can already see myself decluttering, so. Next is face palettes or dual purpose products or duos. Anything that has like more than one category of kind of product in it, like blush and bronzer, or blush and highlighter, or bronzer, blush and highlighter, or bronzer and highlighter. Basically, if it has more than one kind of product in it, I counted it into this category with like face palettes and like duo kind of products, dual purpose, multi-purpose products. That's what I should call this whole thing, just multi-purpose products. But anyways, you guys get the point. So I have 10 of these in this category, which I don't think is unreasonable, but I do think that this is gonna shrink next year because I never go for these kinds of products. I really never use these. Okay, I shouldn't say never. There are a couple that I do use, but I gravitate towards the individual product, like an individual blush or an individual bronzer over dual purpose products. I think it's gonna shrink next year, but not by a lot, or it'll stay the same. I don't see this growing next year, but who knows? So the total number of face products that I have is 124 of just face products. We still have 2 other major categories to get through, but that's how many of my face products I have, which, I mean, I don't think is horrible. I feel like it's okay. Like, I don't think it's crazy. I don't really have an opinion on whether or not I would love for it to shrink or grow overall in this category, but I would say that I don't want it to go over like 150 for next year, maybe? I don't know. But I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this. So let's go ahead and move on to eyes. Let me start by saying this is my largest category. Not really surprised that it's my largest one, but first off, we have single shadows. Okay, so I wasn't really surprised by this at all. I kind of already knew that I didn't have very many single shadows. So I have a total of 19 single shadows. They're all affordable eyeshadows. They're all like, I got them under like $5. Most of the time if I'm buying a single shadow, it's on sale. And I don't buy them very often. I definitely buy palettes. Like, I love eyeshadow palettes. I like having it out there. I think the color stories of palettes really just like get my attention and really get my brain thinking about looks. But I definitely know this is gonna grow this next year, or this year. It's definitely gonna grow this year because I have been having my eyes on some single shadows lately, especially from some indie brands, and I've just been exploring that idea a lot more. Like, there's a couple from Give Me Glow that they're gonna be coming out with some that I'm 100% gonna purchase because they look incredible. So that I definitely think is gonna grow next year, and I'm a little scared. I hope that I don't go single shadow crazy. Okay, on to eyeshadow palettes. So I split it up into small palettes and large palettes, as well as obviously affordable versus high end. And then I also added the small and large together so you guys can see like a final number of how many I have all together. So for small palettes, I have a total of 25. I define small in my eyes as 9 pans or smaller. So these are all of my eyeshadow palettes that have 9 or smaller than that. I had 11 drugstore and 14 high end for the total of 25. I'm not surprised by this at all. Actually, when it comes to my eyeshadow palettes in general, I had more higher end ones than affordable ones because I personally feel like I have a really hard time finding affordable and drugstore eyeshadow palettes that I like or that look interesting to me or that have like decent quality. It is getting better. So for large eyeshadow palettes, I had a total of 32. I had another 11 drugstore or affordable and 21 high-end. So that brings my total eyeshadow palettes to 57. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I think that's a good number for me. Like I know it's a lot, but as I was going through my collection, I'm realizing that eyeshadow palettes are definitely my favorite thing. Eyeshadows is just what like makes makeup fun. Like for me, makeup is art. Like I like to do artistic, colorful, crazy, neutral, all kinds of looks. So I need a big variety of different palettes. And I think that these 57 palettes, they're gonna change next year for sure. Like I'm definitely gonna be bringing in more and decluttering a few, but I think this is gonna increase next year. I just have a feeling it's going to because I feel like when I get to the States, it's gonna be really hard to not purchase more because there are so many that I really want to try, and there's gonna be more that come out obviously. And yeah, I'm excited. I'm so excited about the future of my eyeshadow collection because I love them. Next thing up in the eye category is cream shadows. And I have a total of 9 of them. 7 were affordable and 2 are high-end. I'm not surprised by this, and I kind of feel like this is gonna shrink next year. Half of them, I'm already looking at them now like, do I really need you? I don't use cream shadows very often. I do like cream, like the ColourPop Super Shock shadows that have like a kind of a glittery kind of look to them as like a topper. That's the only time I really like to use these cream shadows is like a topper. And I feel like you can have toppers that are not creams, and I would just prefer powders over creams because I feel like creams tend to crease more often on my eyes. So I definitely could see this shrinking next year, and I'm glad it's not bigger because I don't need any more. On to mascara. So I have 13 total, and I have 6 that are affordable and 7 that are high-end. I don't think this is a large overall number, but I do think it is way too many to have open. Why do I have 13 mascaras open? I don't know because I use the same 3 and then I keep them way too long. So some of these I should probably just get rid of. I'm not mad at the number. I'm mad at how many are open. So if next year, if I could lower that, that'd be awesome because nobody needs to be, I mean, it's just mascara. It's so boring. It's not like I can really talk about it in length to you guys anyways. I don't know why I have 13 open, but that's just absolutely ridiculous. Brow products, I have 9 total. I have 3 affordable and 6 that are high-end. I was actually really surprised by this drugstore versus high-end because I've been using a lot of drugstore eye pencils. That's basically what I always do to my eyebrows, is just an eyebrow pencil, and then lately I've been using an eyebrow gel on top. It's possible that the reason why I don't have a lot of drugstore is because I go through them so quickly, and a lot of these high-end brow products that are in my collection are products that I'm not a fan of or that I really don't use like barely ever, or that I need to get rid of. Like really, when it comes to brow products, I just use brow pencils and the 2 little eyebrow gels that I have. I feel like this is a really fair amount of brow products, but again, it is kind of a lot to have open. Like next year, if I could have less, that would be even better. Again, it's brows. A lot of times I just cut it on my video anyway, so there's really no need for me to have this many open. Okay, now for liners. Gel liners, liquid liners, pot liners, any kind of liner. Lip liner is obviously in the lip category. So these are all of my liners, and there is 39 of them. This is ridiculous, you guys. This is absolutely ridiculous. I do not need 39 open eyeliners. I haven't decluttered my eyeliners in a long time, and it's definitely a category that next year I'm sure is gonna, I'm hoping, I can't say I'm sure on anything, I'm hoping is going to decrease next year because that's a lot of liners and I really don't use liner that often. I do like to use a black liquid liner pretty often, but I have so many opened right now. It is ridiculous. So I definitely hope that this shrinks next year, and I was pretty shocked by this number, and seeing it all laid out in front of, like seeing it all laid out was kind of surprising to me because I do have them separated in two different places. Like I have some up here and then I have some in my drawer, and I think I need to figure out when I move how to reorganize it in a way where I have each of these categories like all together, like so that way it just gives me a better idea of how many things I have, because I do feel like sometimes my collection is kind of everywhere. It's all in this corner over here, but I like feel like I just have stuff kind of everywhere. So I hope that when I get into my new beauty studio space, I'm able to reorganize things in a way that like just makes sense, because right now it doesn't really make sense, and I had no idea I have 39 liners, which by the way 24 of them are drugstore and 15 are high-end. Most of those high-end ones are liquid liners, but I do use liquid liner pretty often, so that's why most of my high ends are liquid liners. Okay, glitters and pigments. So I have a total of 25 glitters and pigments. 4 of them are affordable. There's no way. I had to have wrote that backwards. I definitely wrote that backwards, and now I'm like questioning everything. Like, how many things did I write backwards? I'll recount them in the pictures before I post the video, so I'll just correct anything on the screen. So as far as drugstore versus high-end, I'm not surprised here. I don't use glitters or pigments very often, so I don't like to spend a lot of money on them. But I mean, the total of 25 is pretty fair. I feel like I'm okay with that. If it grew a little bit next year, I would be okay with that as well, but I don't want it to grow too much because like I said, this is something that I don't use very often. So I wouldn't want it to grow too much, but I would be okay with it being a little bit more. Eye primers, I only have 4. I have 2 high-end and 2 drugstore. 2 of them are regular eyeshadow primers and 2 of them are glitter primers, which actually I really don't think I need 2 glitter primers. I think I would be fine with just 1. I made declutter one this year. And then for my 2 other regular eyeshadow primers, my Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion in Eden is my fave. There's not much left in my Urban Decay one, and then the Fenty one is a mini one, so definitely I'm gonna have to purchase one at some point this year, I would think. Yeah, I'm definitely going to have to. I'm definitely cool with 4. I don't think I need any more or any less. Maybe 5. I feel like if I went over 5, that'd be ridiculous. Like, who needs more than 5 eyeshadow primers, you know? Okay, so for the total number of eye products that I have 175. So I have 175 eye products. Wow, that's a lot. But it's not as many as I've seen on other people. So again, I don't feel so crazy. Like, this is a fair number to me. This is gonna grow next year. I have a very strong feeling this is gonna be a lot more next year. We will see. I don't know why I'm in like a very singing mood. Like, everything I'm saying is like a singing. Okay, now to the last category, which is lips. So first up, we have lip liners. I have a total of 38 lip liners. 35 are affordable drugstore and 3 are high-end. Not surprised about the high-end versus drugstore. Again, this is similar to liners for me, where it takes me a long time to use one up, or I don't use them often enough to be able to, for me personally, to justify buying like high-end lip pencils all the time. Although I definitely have been interested in them lately, like since I bought the Pat McGrath ones, which are my 3 high-end ones. I love those so much, so I think it's gonna go up in the high-end category this year. But in the drugstore one, I think it's probably gonna stay around the same, and I think the overall number is probably gonna grow. Obviously, you guys can see in the picture, I have a crap ton of ColourPop ones, and that's because I bought one of the ColourPop lip pencil boxes that they sell, where it comes with like 70 lip liners or something. And I didn't really do that for my I mean, I did a little bit, but I also freelance makeup, so I split the box in half between like personal ones that I use, and then I have the other half that in my makeup kit. So that's why I have so many lip liners in general. Like, I don't know if I would ever have bought that many individually. That's a lot. Like, that's a lot of lip liners. Okay, on to lipsticks. And in this category, I put liquid lipsticks, cream lipsticks, bullet lipsticks, just like regular lipsticks. And I have a total of 59. I have 23 affordable and 36 high-end. That's crazy that I have more high-end than drugstore. I am honestly shocked by that number because I never imagined being here. Like, I used to only buy drugstore lipsticks. Like, I didn't ever understand what the point was of buying high-end lipsticks, and now I have a fascination with them just as we can't use them. Great timing, Lindsay. Good timing. The mask situation makes it real difficult to use lipsticks, and I just happen to be like, ooh, I like lipsticks this year. I don't know what happened. I think that this category is going to decrease this year or stay the same, but I don't think it's gonna grow because I have a lot in here that I could see myself decluttering this year, and I do feel like I'm gonna start buying more high-end lipsticks, but not very often because obviously that's very expensive. I think I'm really falling in love with high-end lipsticks. I still love my drugstore makeup, obviously, and I probably will end up having drugstore lipsticks still because I do like to do lip swatch videos, and it's obviously, if I'm buying the lipsticks, it's more affordable for me to buy a bulk of affordable, I keep saying affordable, of cheaper lipsticks than it is to buy high-end lipsticks. So maybe it will increase. I guess I'm just gonna have to see how I can restrain myself when I get back to the States. But yeah, I have 59 of those. Now, lip gloss and sheer shiny lipsticks. Anything that has a glossy or sheer finish to it, that's in this category. So I have 51 total. 30 of them are affordable drugstore and 21 are high-end. Who am I buying all these high-end lip products? Honestly, the only reason I have more affordable here is because I have so many of those Wet n Wild sheer shine lipsticks because I did a lip swatch video on them. Same thing with the e.l.f. ones. I have a bunch of the e.l.f. sheer shiny ones, and I also did a lip swatch video on those. So that's why I have so many of affordable drugstore ones. So like I was saying with the regular lipstick bullets, if I have a full collection of something, it's most likely going to be affordable drugstore because money. But yeah, 51 of those. And you know, I have a lot of lip products. I really do. And you know what's crazy is I literally just did a lipstick declutter where I cut almost my entire lipstick collection in half. Who needs this many lips? I have a problem. The last category is lip balms / other. All of mine are lip balms. I don't know why I put an other there, but who knows? Maybe some weird other kind of lip product will come out this year. I don't know. But I have a total of 9. 3 that are affordable and 6 that are high-end. 3 affordable drugstore and 6 high-end. I'm actually really surprised about that. Now, these are lip balms, so like, again, very subjective, but I feel like a lip balm, if it's under $10, it's affordable. If it's over $10, then it's high-end. Like, that's just, I don't know, in my brain, that's just kind of what it goes to for some reason. Because it's lip balm, that's why. It doesn't need to be super expensive. But I have a total of 9, and I'm okay with this. I used to have so many more than this, and I'm so glad I decluttered them. I think at the beginning of last year, I did a declutter on I did another lipstick declutter and I got rid of a bunch of them. And I think this is a fair amount of lip balms, and I'm hoping I don't increase this too much, and I really want to use a bunch up. Like, I really want to, because I'm terrible at using lip balms up. I'm so bad at it, but I really want to use some of them up. So hopefully I can get some of these out of my collection and not purchase too many. I don't know, I don't buy lip balm very often. Like, I really don't. My husband buys it way more often than me. So that is a total of 157 lip products, which is quite a bit. That's a lot. That is a lot. Okay, so I would love to see this shrink next year. I really would. Whether or not it's going to, who freaking knows? I don't know. It's hard with lipsticks and lip products because that's one thing that you can't really resell or give to someone else I mean, you can like sanitize lipstick bullets. You can't resell anything that has a wand because it's contaminated after it's touched your lips. But with like a lipstick bullet, you can take off the outer part and like sanitize it with alcohol and stuff. I still feel weird about doing that. Like, so it's hard because I don't want to get rid of them. So it ends up growing really big. And then I do a declutter and I have to throw a bunch away because they're old. And it's so difficult to do that because I still want to buy them to be able to do lip swatch videos and stuff. I don't know. It's very complicated. But I hope that it definitely, I really, really hope it decreases next year. But now I'm sitting here thinking about it, I feel like it's probably going to increase again. That's a lot of lipstick. Okay, grand finale total number, if you've already done the math. Which you probably didn't because you probably forgot all the numbers. But that is a total of 456 items. And to some people, that may sound like a lot. I mean, it is a lot. It is a lot. But in my world, if I'm being honest, I thought it was going to be a lot higher than that. I truly thought it was going to be more than that. I thought for sure it would be over 500 minimum. Like minimum. I thought it was going to be closer to like 700. I'm not even going to lie. Like I really did. I don't know why, like I thought in my head I had more than that when it comes to the number, but when I'm picturing it, like it's not 700. So I don't know. I don't know how brain works like that. It's still a lot, like don't get me wrong, I'm very aware that my collection is massive. Like it's pretty big compared to some people. Like I understand it's a lot, but it's not as big as some other people. Like it's really, you know, like for my makeup use and the way that I use it and like do reviews and stuff, I feel like that's a fair number. I really do. And I definitely think this is gonna grow next year. I definitely think it's gonna grow next year. Hopefully not too much. I don't want things to get out of control, but I think that like when it comes to powder products and stuff, that's where my collection is gonna grow. Like eyeshadows and like bronzers and such. Like I think that's anything powder I think is gonna grow because even though I know I'm going to be buying things that are cream based, like concealers, foundations, like those kinds of things, I know I'm gonna be buying them, but that's where I feel like I do okay at sometimes. You know, that's not even true because I'm trying to say something that's not even true because I have 157 lipsticks. And those are all cream and liquid things. Overall, I need to keep an eye on anything that's cream based. They go bad so much faster. And I would love to see my base products go down next year. Foundations, concealers, anything like that, it's wet that goes on my entire face. I would love to see that go down because I do not need that many of those categories. But everything else I feel like is gonna grow. Oh my gosh. I'm really trying to predict the future right now. Haven't I learned from 2020 that I can't predict the future? I don't know why I'm still trying. Anyways, guys, that is all of my makeup in my collection. This was an extremely long video. I feel like I talked for so long, but I'm really excited that I have this video up now because I cannot wait to see what happens next year. Like I'm super excited to do this at the end of the year. I keep saying next year, but like at the end of the year. I'm going to be doing it. Probably at the very end of like December or something. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys have in your collection. That would be super fun to know how many products you guys have because I don't know, I'm super curious. You guys should do this too. I would love to know. Thanks again so much for watching and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.
Like a Friday night on the weekend, I feel blessed and free. I just don't want this moment to end. But now you say you gotta go.